It's 7 o'clock. I'm Rayford Brown,
I'm Kelly. Girls.
and we're here on a hump day. It's halfway through the week, and
Mhm.
yay!
Whew.
Turn that speaker down. I was hearing
That's
myself.
hard to say.
Yeah, the other
I
side.
heard myself. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and you
wait.
didn't even have headphones on.
No.
I heard you. Whew.
Well, I tell you what, my wife, who has was smart several years ago and got herself some of those little extra things you stick in your ear so you hear more better.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, she needed some new ones, and I get hand-me-downs.
Have you got them on?
Nope, can't wear them under headphones very well.
I didn't think so, but I was like,
But anyway,
why are you yelling this
because
morning?
she was trying, and she wanted me to try.
Yes.
She's been trying
Mhm.
for years to get me to do it. They ran a test on me the same time they did a test on her because she insisted
Right.
on it. And so young lady over there, and I'll get permission from my wife to tell you who it is and where it is in a little while. But anyway, they said that when they gave her new ones the other day, they had me come in at the same time, and they said, let's take these and put them in there. Let's see if they work for you. Let's do a hearing test. It's free. It's complimentary because your wife is getting these other ones, yada, yada, yada,
Oh.
and yada, yada. So anyway, she you know those things, you don't just stick them in your ear and they're ready to go like they used to be. They have to be programmed individually
Yes,
for the
I
way
went through all
your
that
ears
with my dad.
don't work or whatever.
Mhm.
So they did this thing, and I found out a couple of things. And a lot of these folks you hear this feedback when they get near you or whatever. From apparently they turn their stuff up so loud, the individuals do. Because unfortunately, I have an app that controls my earphones, my whatever you call them, hearing aids.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I can. The cool thing is, because I looked at it before I agreed to even do anything, because I'm stubborn. At least
Yes.
I've been told by some people I'm stubborn.
Yes.
Two or
Yes.
three people,
Yeah.
2 or 3
4 or 5.
thousand.
Mhm.
2.
I can think of 6 right off the bat. Okay.
What do they know?
Mhm.
So anyway, it's got, you know how this little board over here has got all these little controls on them? It's called equalizer
Right.
pots and stuff like that. It's got that on these devices. I can change the frequency response, not as many as I have over here, but for 3 range: low, medium, and high.
Mhm.
That kind of stuff. You can adjust the amount that you hear from those 3 ranges, which is pretty cool because people will hear differently. On one of my ears, the one that has had too many bullets fired beside it, loud blast, it's got some dropout, as you can imagine. It's got a thing called bzzz all the time.
Wow.
Sound like a bee in there,
Yes.
a high pitched bee, a gay bee, really high, and they're buzzing around.
Mhm.
So we're able to neutralize a lot of that,
Good.
which allows me to be able to hear more.
Now, are they also acting as Bluetooth?
They can.
Yes.
That's how the Bluetooth is how it connects to the
To
phone.
the app, right.
But I disable it as soon as I adjust it. Why? Because then my phone will ring in my ear.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I don't want that. No, absolutely
Hey.
not. So I disable it. Well, guess what I am going to do? Because watching TV changes constantly, right?
Mhm.
The audio,
Yes.
for y'all. And I got one of these old cell phones. I got lots of old cell phones. And today I'm going to put that same app on this old cell phone, put it right beside the TV, right my chair, like it's a remote control, and I'll be able to control my ears from that.
Okay.
Nice.
without interfering with my telephone. I can just leave it on all the time that way. What do you think?
Well,
Okay.
If there's
Check
a
it
will,
out.
there's a way. That's
And
the
if
way
there
I'm
is,
looking at
you'll probably find
Okay.
it.
yes.
Happened on this day back in 1993, a little after noon. A massive, huge bomb goes off in the parking garage of the World Trade Center up there in New York.
Yep.
A lot of people who weren't born back then haven't even studied it, know very little about it, if anything. But yeah, it left a multi-story crater in the garage going down.
Yeah.
Collapsed several steel reinforced concrete floors in that whole area. They collapsed. They came down. 6 people were killed.
Mm-hmm.
By 2021 standards, that was nothing. We had 3,000 killed. But 6 people were killed. 1,000 were injured. $500 million in damage. It would have been more, but the terrorists did not know what they were doing. They learned from that run what to do. The buildings are built such as you take out here or a pillar there or whatever. It's not going to bring the whole building down. You got to do the attack at the top and work your way down.
And sadly, that's how they studied
They
that.
learned how to do it. And we,
Mhm.
the great American thought processes that we have, we didn't learn a dang thing from it, even though we caught all but one of these individuals.
Yeah.
We got them all, but one.
Yep.
And we didn't learn anything. And they were bragging about it.
Yep.
Those that lived through it.
1993.
1993.
I remember it.
And we started learning a lot about terrorism, a lot more than we knew. I mean, we'd had little sneak attacks at our bases and stuff like that. We did in our embassies, and we had had these runs done already. Look at Beirut. Look at 1983. Look what happened there. We lost a couple of hundred Marines and sailors and some soldiers
Yes.
there. Most of the
Yes.
Marines were from Camp Lejeune.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's why we have the trees.
So that's, we should have known something there. The Marine Corps learned something. They barricaded Camp Lejeune like you would not believe. They had 6x trucks blocking across the road. They were ready to they were manned and with Marines in them in case somebody got by the main gates. They would pull across the road, the whole road,
Right.
block them all off.
I mean, it was so sad in Onslow
It was
County.
awful. It was awful.
People were putting yellow ribbons up in their houses, and eventually that's when the Onslow, that was Clean County, developed the thing to put trees,
Yep,
trees,
the pear trees.
the pear trees along 24 and called that Freedom Highway. I mean, it was just a solemn time in Onslow County, but so many people came together over that.
It still remains a solemn time. It's
Yes,
just
it
that,
does.
we sometimes take it for granted and we just say, okay, well, that's ancient history. Well,
Right.
in some people's cases, it is ancient history. And, I was born after World War II. And to me, studying World War II when I was in high school was kind of like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly was.
Yeah, it ended 3 years before I was born. That's how long ago it wasn't.
My dad went into World War II the last year.
Hmm.
He just came in as a new Marine.
Okay, we got some guests coming up this morning, so we're going to
Yes,
modify
we
our
do.
schedules just a little bit here today. We've got a young man that I met several years ago, right after he retired. I went to his retirement party when he moved to this area. His name is Timothy Spies, Tim Spies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe he'll let me call him Timmy. He retired from the Secret Service after a long and distinguished career, not only with presidential details and other dignitaries, providing protection for them when they were in this country and those who were of our own who were in this country. But he also was an investigator. He was one that led the the case involving Nigerian counterfeiting.
Mm.
And that, y'all, if
I
you
know
don't
who you're
remember the
talking about,
case,
that
it
one,
was
yeah.
a
Yeah,
huge
it was a
case.
big
Right.
deal.
Little did I have a clue that I was a man one day who did that, who was
Mm-hmm.
the primary investigator on it. So can't discount Tim. He's been around, and he's now retired. And he was his class there in the Secret Service. There was a guy in that class.
Let me guess.
We all know him. Know of him.
Dan Bungie.
Motor mouth, big mouth, and but anyway, he's been appointed to be the deputy director of the FBI. He's retired Secret Service.
Mhm.
And he kind of got the job, according to the president, because, he's got a very successful podcast.
He's very MAGA.
What?
Oh, he's very MAGA.
Extreme MAGA.
What?
Yeah.
Well, what would he make me if I would be extreme MAGA? Could
You're
he give
not
me-
extreme MAGA, right?
I could be.
He's got
With the right amount of
You have
money.
to change your thought
huge
process.
following.
What
He
would I have to
does.
be? Pro-America?
No, you just got to be more. What would I use?
You mean
Radical? I don't know if radical is the right word.
Well, I could be radical.
Okay. I don't. Then you have to change your affiliation too.
Oh,
Yeah.
well. Well, anyway, we're going to be joined by Tim in a few minutes, and he's probably saying, "Oh God, do I really want to call in?" His wife, a lovely young lady. By the way, they just had their anniversary of their wedded blissful days.
Mhm.
So I offer him congratulations for that. We'll be joined by Tim here in just a few minutes. And then at the bottom of the hour, at 7:30, we've got Dr. Rose. And we got some questions for her because we talked about it yesterday. Texas has got a whole heap of things called measles these days. And
Yeah.
what in the world?
Now you've got a group who is trying to say that
it's because of the vaccinations they're
Yes.
getting. We didn't have vaccinations for measles when I was born, when I was a little kid.
Mhm.
There was no such thing in the beginning. But I got the measles. There was no COVID vaccinations in the beginning, and I got COVID.
yeah.
Mhm.
When you give it some thought, there was no influenza vaccinations, and I got the flu. Since the vaccinations for COVID, the flu, and measles have come out, I haven't had any of the above. So y'all say what you want to say, and it hasn't caused me to have it. But that's the way I am, and we'll talk to Dr. Rose about it and how she thinks. And we've got an anti-vaxxer way up there inside the administration these days. So we'll have to see how that's going to work out. I'm going to say not too good in the long run. Really nice day yesterday. My God, it was 76 degrees one time when I was out in my truck.
Beautiful.
76 degrees. Temperatures warmed up
Mhm.
20 degrees before we could even get off the air yesterday. Right now it's hovering around 30. Well, it's already come up 2 degrees since we've been in here. It was 30 outside this morning here at the studio on our official weather station. So we'll see from Kelly here in a minute. They're just going to warm up again today, I think.
Yeah.
Offshore today. Westerly winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming southwesterly this afternoon. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Near shore, seas only 1 foot. Then they'll kick up to 2 feet this afternoon. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, increasing to 20 to 25 in the afternoon. Gusts up to 30. 4 to 6 footers. Sounds and rivers choppy, becoming rough in the afternoon. Friday, northwesterly winds 15 to 20. Gusts to 30 knots on Friday. Nope. Westerly winds 10 to 15 in the afternoon, seas 3 to 5 feet, sounds and rivers choppy. They'll come down just a little bit to a moderate chop in the afternoon.
Today it'll be sunny with a high of 74 with calm winds. Tonight clear, low of 53. Tomorrow mostly sunny, high of 77. However, we will have gusts as high as 26 miles an hour tomorrow. Tomorrow night there is a 40% chance of rain. Otherwise, it'll start off cloudy, then become clear with a low of 43 with 17-mile-an-hour gusts overnight. Then Friday, sunny, high of 64 with 18-mile-an-hour gusts.
Okay, after Dr. Rose, and she'll be on at 7:30ish. After she wraps up, we're going to have Peter Wright. Mr. Wright will be in here, ladies. So, Get your phone calls ready. If you'd like to talk to Mr. Wright, maybe Mr. Wright is the one for you. You know, if you've got Medicare questions, he is the one for you. If you've got issues there or you've got questions, we're still in the post changeable phase. If you've done things that you didn't like, if you made some changes in your Medicare for the what is that plan we have after the extra plan?
Advantage.
Yeah, the Advantage stuff. If you got that and
Right.
you made a change and you don't like what you did and you want to go back or you want to do something else, you've got a little time to do that. So we'll talk to Peter about that again this morning.
Please remind me to spend my quarterly money that I get free from them.
Okay, go spend your quarterly money that you get for your. I've got to do the same thing. I've spent a little bit in January.
We've got through March,
Oh
right?
yeah, I can blow the rest of
I
it
have
in
a
12
card.
minutes.
They had sent me a card.
$80 some I get to spend.
Yes, and I keep forgetting.
So it's just part of the plan. It's you got to spend it for medical purposes at places that accept
Right.
it.
I'll buy $75 worth of Band-Aids or something, you know.
Stick them on the wall.
Stick them on the
Does Scotch
dogs.
tape count?
Yeah.
And then about a little after 8 o'clock, about 8:20 this morning, we've got a man who retired as the police chief a couple of years ago, but he is last year I guess he retired as police chief, Mike Yanero, but he's remained on the staff.
Director of Public Safety.
As the public safety director now remaining, but he's announced his retirement, which is coming up here in a month or so.
Right. He
So-
announced that when he was on our show a couple of weeks
He
ago.
did. And we're going to tell you, I'm going to bug him because I think he's just going to go out and go fishing and playing golf a lot. Probably not.
Maybe he'll buy a big boat and we can just go for boat rides
Yeah,
with him and
we
go
could
fishing.
I could take him for a boat ride on his own boat if he wants to buy it. I
Well,
can
do
run
we
it
know
for him.
he's going to retire here, or is he going to move somewhere else?
We're going to ask him, but I know. Okay. One thing today, please, if you got something to talk about that's off topic for a bit, try to hang on for a while. We'll have some time. And if we don't get to all of it today, we'll get to it tomorrow. No
That's
doubt
right.
about it. Don't try to call and talk about the budget discussions that are happening right now in Washington. I think, or maybe I read something about it somewhere, that there's some budget mess going on up there.
Tax cuts.
The House is going along with the president's proposal that would see a tax savings of $4.5 trillion. I read that and I thought, cool. Second line of that same story. The massive GOP bill will also direct $4 trillion toward raising the debt limit. I wonder what that means. Maybe you can understand my confusion. It's probably best not to look at me for direction, though, I will tell you, because I don't know. And the only thing I know is probably the same thing you do, and that's what we've read, and that's pretty scary. Because you read on this column, I just read in the same story 3 different things that I didn't understand, so I don't know what's up. So we'll figure it all out here, coming up here shortly. Meanwhile, retired special agent with the Secret Service, Tim Spees, should be ringing our chimes here in any moment.
Yeah.
Well, while we're waiting, Lee,
Yes.
we've had more airline trouble yesterday.
Yes. Yes, I saw that.
2 flights had to abort their landings. The first one was at Reagan National. Just as it was trying to land at 8:20 in the morning yesterday, American Airlines flight 2246 had to cancel it because there was a plane about to depart from that runway. So they're like, you got to pull back up. So they had to go back up.
It's what they call a go around.
Yep.
Yes.
And circle.
And thankfully, that pilot saw the other plane.
Correct.
If it had been nighttime,
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so then 90 minutes later in Chicago, Southwest Airline almost had what they're calling a close call at Midway because it was attempting to land. And there was a private jet that entered the runway with no authorization.
That's
they
right.
hadn't been cleared to enter that runway. So once again, this plane, it took place once again 8:50 in the morning, something about that time.
were they having radio problems or anything on the private jet?
They're not saying
I mean,
anything.
Things
They're
like
just-
that can happen, and that's
It
always
can.
scared me. And do you know that in a lot of private fields, I
Right.
do not know the rules today.
Oh no, The air traffic controller instructed the jet to turn left on runway 4L, cross runway 31L, and hold short of runway
And
31C.
he's dyslexic.
Okay. The pilot replies, left on 2 of 4L, cross the 22 or 13C. So he
Got it backwards.
So then the air traffic controller says, flex jet negative, cross. But at this point, the Southwest plane was trying to land. So they're like,
Go around.
climb back up to 3,000. So when they got up to 3,000, the pilot actually radioed the tower and says, how did that happen?
Oh,
Yeah.
listen,
Is that all he
I will
said?
tell you. I will
It's
tell you.
claiming that's all he said.
If you will ever
Um,
listen, if you
mhm.
ever can pull down some of those clips
Yes.
or listen to there, you probably got a radio. If I could give you the frequencies, you would know. You could listen to that
I
stuff.
listened
But
to,
around here, it's not so bad. But when you
Right.
get into some of these areas,
right,
it's those
Mhm.
pilots when they're talking about what in the Sam Hill is going on.
Mhm.
right.
They are pretty blunt about it.
Well,
Especially private
NTSB did
pilots.
a presser. Is that in there about the presser?
It's not saying that. It's saying also that the passengers on the Chicago flight said the pilot actually came on and said, there's a plane on the runway. And so they circled for another 10 minutes. And they're saying he sounded very calm. The people were very appreciative, and they were talking about how this pilot was amazing.
Mhm.
The passengers were. Now, on the Reagan National one, some of the people interviewed said they were fearful and they knew instantly something was wrong with how abruptly that plane just immediately pulled back up, considering, I guess, how low they were. I don't know. So they were a little more less calm, I guess, than the Chicago passengers were.
Mhm.
But I think some of it could be different. You know, the pilot told them, dudes, we've got to pull back up because there's a plane on the runway. Whereas it doesn't appear, at least it doesn't say that the Reagan National pilot said anything other than the people knew something and they didn't know what, and it made them afraid.
Yeah.
Lord.
Well, that
I-
second one, I heard the NTSB talking this morning. They said it was absolutely the smaller jets
oh, absolutely.
era, the pilot
Clearly,
era.
ju-
Well, if
even
you
just
landed
on that.
without permission,
They
it
said they
is.
were going to investigate that thoroughly. But, she went in to say that it was nothing to do with air traffic control.
No,
And
because he tried to
she
fix
went
it.
on to say that for the last couple of years, they had been working with the Secretary of Transportation in Congress. And she even appeared in Congress last spring, which was another administration, saying, we need to do something. We need more people. We need
Mm.
this. We need that.
Well, they're
and she
short
said-
all across the country.
Yes. And she said that she's been talking with her new secretary now, and Duffy, and she said that he's really working up something to help a lot. But she said it went on deaf ears for several years.
Well, I know it's
Well, they have these other priorities that we know about. You got to get the
Let's not
right
even start
person
that.
in there.
Jesus.
Not the right
Yes.
qualified person.
But-
You've got to get the right person to fit our narrative.
Right.
That's what's been going on for 3 years.
I have a suggestion, but I
I do
am
too,
smart
but-
enough to know that it is probably not super feasible in most airports. Have one dedicated runway for the
Excuse
little
me.
private jets. And I know, I mean, in an airport like Atlanta or Chicago, you could do that, but a smaller one, it's going to be
I
very
don't
difficult.
even know that in
but it's a
Atlanta
cool
you
idea.
could do that because
Yeah.
the way the winds and everything else are
Yeah,
happening,
that's
other
true,
traffic,
too.
cross traffic. That's what the air traffic controllers have to do. They have to assign that runway.
They do,
Right.
but they also will, like in the mornings, you may be landing from the right, and in the evening, you landing from the left, just throwing out.
Depends on where the wind's blowing
Direction.
to.
Yeah.
I listened to one pilot said, like we have 10,000 flights a day across the nation. It's not like this happens all the time. It's just lately, it was like with the trains.
Well, we
Remember
hear
the
about it a
train
lot.
derailments?
Yeah.
All of a sudden we started hearing them day after day after day. You've
Yeah.
not heard one word about a train derailment
Mhm.
since then, but
You
I
better-
guarantee
you just
they're having
owned your words right there. And one more very quick thing, Rayford, because I know this will make you happy. Good old Tiffany Henyard, that little Illinois mayor that spent all that money in scandal and even had that former
yeah.
Chicago mayor hired to control her spending.
Lightfoot?
Mhm.
Yeah, yes.
Wasn't she the one getting her nails done? and all
Everything.
kinds of stuff?
Apparently, she spent $40,000 in one day on Amazon with with funds.
Oh, my mailman would shoot me.
Oh, I'm telling you what. So they had a primary yesterday.
How bad did she get
got
beat?
her butt beat bad. Okay. Her challenger beat her 3,896 votes to 536.
Oh, whips.
And he campaigned on
I
I'm
would
cleaning
question
the
those
house.
500 votes that voted for her.
Well, it's got to be family and friends, the ones
Yeah.
that fought with her in the crowd that day. And she said, God has another plan for me.
Yeah.
But here's
Pay back your funds.
Here's what
Pay
Mayor
back what you stole.
Lori Lightfoot's probe. We didn't mention this, as I think it just has come out. From 2022 to 2024, so 2 years, Rayford, the villages, and it's a town, it's very small. General fund diminished. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
From 5.6 million surplus in 2022 to 3.6 million deficit in 24.
$8 million
based on her spending and credit card purchases.
She needs to go to prison.
They said she's been accused of civil rights violations. She's facing lawsuits over her corruption. And then there was that last month's board meeting fight that we watched on video.
Oh, that was so epic.
All right, that helicopter that went down Monday night here in southeastern North Carolina was stationed at the airport here in Onslow County. They've had one there for quite a while, a medical helicopter. Novant Health says the pilot, Novant Health is the one that owns what used to be called New Hanover Regional Medical Center. Before that, it was New Hanover Memorial Hospital. It's been a bunch of names. Anyway, the Novant Health folks say the pilot, a critical care registered nurse, and a critical care paramedic were on board the EC-135 Airlink helicopter when it crashed about 7:45 p.m. off Holly Shelter Road near the Pender, New Hanover County line. The helo had left New Hanover Regional Medical Center, and apparently, I think it had refueled, according to one of the stories I was listening to last night, which I questioned because it was a podcast story, who was analyzing it. He can't pronounce Holly Shelter, by the way, and other stuff he had totally messed up. And anyway, it had left the New Hanover after delivering a patient there from somewhere. I don't know where the patient was being brought in from. Don't know that yet. And was returning to its base at Albert J. Ellis Airport. That's according to Novant Health. The helicopter is owned by Apollo MedFlight. The pilot is their employee. The other folks on board work for the hospital system. The National Transportation Safety Board predicts that a preliminary report will be available in about 30 days, but a full report will take a year or maybe even longer to complete. Okay, folks, mark it down on your calendars for 1 year from today and say, check on the status of that helicopter that crashed in southeastern North Carolina, the med flight, and let me know when you hear anything about it, just in case you've forgotten all about this whole thing by the time we get to 2026.
Oh, we will.
No word on the extent of damage, nor any information about radio traffic before the helicopter hit the ground. That's something that's sadly missing here in these reports. We don't know what was said. We don't know that whether it was an emergency called in. It was flying over a heavily wooded area. That Holly Shelter area is it's a game land, and you got some roads up there, but they're lanes and roads. They're not really big old roads running everywhere, left and right. So it went down. The 3 individuals on board were hurt. Don't know how bad. They said they were minor to begin with, and we understand one may have been more seriously injured. That's what they were putting out last night. Don't know what the cause of the crash is. They were going over this helicopter. New Hanover's got New Hanover Hospital, Novant, whatever you want to call it. The Wilmington Hospital has got this helicopter assigned to stays at the airport here. So it can be launched, spur of the moment. A crew is on standby, ready to fly, and go wherever it has to go to pick up people and transport them. There were some flight lines that they were showing last night of the helicopters flying over to Morehead City. Now, flying to Morehead City, picking up a patient at the hospital there, and flying them back to Wilmington. Okay. I know there are bed shortages everywhere. I know that personally from the day that I was sitting there in the emergency room and they were asking me where I wanted to go to be transferred to because they didn't have the facilities at Onslow Memorial to treat the problems that I was having, which dealt with cardiac stuff. Wilmington, no beds. East Carolina, no beds. Duke, no beds. Check with Newbern. Newbern, oh, they got one. We'll get you to Newbern. So they sent a helicopter from Newbern. These flights are having to go from far and wide just to pick up people to transport them to another hospital. I'm hoping that, well, I don't hope that they're in bad shape, but I'm assuming that these folks are in fairly dire straits and need to get from point A to point B right away. In other words, via helicopter. But I also wonder, by the time they can fly a helicopter from Jacksonville, alert the helicopter, start the engines, head to Morehead City to grab the patient and fly the patient to Wilmington, what would be the difference in travel time with a ground unit running with lights and siren if it's that critical? I just wonder. I don't know.
Can't tell you.
Somebody's going to have to tell me what this whole plan of operation is here for the flights from here, there, and everywhere. Okay, we should have Dr. Rose, but I'm not.
It's just 7:31. We'll be. Uh-oh. We're good. The only thing I can think of is the fact that we were talking yesterday morning about that maybe these EMS units aren't equipped.
Well, all of them are not equipped with the
life-saving
everything.
measures
With everything, yeah.
where the helicopter is.
I mean, they can't do surgery on the
No, but they sure
on the
put
flight either.
paddles to you.
Yeah, I would assume that they got emergency resuscitation gear on board and all that
Yes.
sort of good stuff, and defibrillators and the shocking equipment. Dr. Rosemary Stein, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Rose.
Good morning, crew.
How
is everybody?
We're hanging in here. Beautiful day. My goodness. Temperature's on the rise. It's up by 3 degrees already and headed for the 70s today again.
Mid-70s.
Very nice. I love this time of year.
I do too.
Yeah, we just wait for a couple of days. It'll change.
Shh.
That's all right, but we're heading towards warmer weather, and,
Yeah.
and that's good news.
Just to remind you, 4 days from now, back in 1980, it snowed 7 inches in Wilmington.
Stop.
Okay, just letting you know. March 1st.
Thank you.
We're not doing
Oh, it's
this
less
again.
than 4 days.
We're
wasn't it?
done for the year.
Okay, we've got some questions for you. We were reading a report yesterday about all of the measles that are apparently lots of people have caught it. They've got measles down in Texas way, and not a lot of them have had to be hospitalized, but a lot of people have been impacted. And there's a big controversy to shoot them up with measles vaccine or don't shoot them up with measles vaccine. There are those who say they got the measles shot and then they got the measles.
Yeah, it's an anti-vaccine group that's protesting the vaccine, and they're saying that the highly contagious virus is being caused by the vaccine itself.
So what's the story, the real story from Dr. Rose?
Well, I have never heard, not that it can't happen, but I've never heard of, particularly with the measles, catching the virus and the disease from the vaccine. Now that did happen with polio, because it was, well, this is a live attenuated virus too. Okay, but I've never heard of it. Once again, that doesn't mean that it does not happen, but I've never heard of it.
Okay. Well,
I don't think that the initial case was caused by getting the shot.
Probably not. I don't know where it came from. Are we getting ready to have an infestation of an outbreak of measles from coast to coast?
Not if you don't go to Texas.
Well,
Or
Texas,
New Mexico.
the people in Texas come here, you know.
Well,
Let's
it's the
stay
people
home.
from Texas. Should we put a gate around them? I
Yes,
don't know.
build a wall.
Quarantine wall.
That's right, a quarantine wall. Well, the thing about the measles also is that it does make you pretty sick. It can make you sick enough that you need to be hospitalized, mostly because of secondary illnesses that it leaves you with. But it can cause encephalitis and some conditions on its own. Usually, with diseases like the flu, it's the secondary thing like pneumonia that will get you.
Mhm.
With measles, the primary illness can infect some of the organs in your body so that it causes some strange reactions in your body that can cause you to be very, very, very sick. So that it is concerning. And I think that the big pockets of people who haven't been immunized in areas where there's an increase, especially of immigration that maybe don't have immunizations themselves and are bringing across measles in particular, that's where you really have to be concerned. And I know that there's a controversy about vaccines. There's a controversy particularly about autism and the MMR vaccine. But, like anything in life, you need to be cautious. You need to understand the risks. There are risks, I guess, either way, but I think the risk is higher in not being immunized, especially if you're in a high concentration area of immigrants that haven't been immunized.
Okay. Well, earlier in the show, I mentioned that I had the measles before there was a measles vaccine available. Okay, way back when. I got the measles vaccine. I haven't had the measles since. I had the flu before there was that we knew anything about a flu vaccine, and then after that, I got the flu vaccine. I haven't had it since. I had the COVID before there was a COVID vaccine. Got the vaccine. Haven't had it since. And I had no ill effects from any of them that I know anything about. The first two, for sure. The second and the third one for sure. The first one, I don't recall anything. So I don't quite get it. And I got that big old circle on my arm where I got immunized before I could go to school. It's got, for a million different vaccines. Smallpox. I never got that. Whooping cough.
Mostly probably the smallpox, which has been eradicated.
Yeah.
The thing is also, you had the disease and you had the vaccine, so let's say you have a very strong immunity. The disease will give you immunity, but we'll try to give you immunity without you having the disease.
Mm-hmm.
In some illnesses, like the chickenpox, the disease is very mild. So that having immunity from the disease might not be a bad thing. But in other illnesses like the measles and polio, the disease is severe and it can leave very bad consequences. Yeah. And so that's where you consider, okay, is the risk of me having the disease enough for our family to be vaccinated? Sure. Once again, I don't believe in immunizing against people's will. I think that people should look at the circumstances and the vaccine and really come up with your own decision. But on the other hand, I think that overall, not every single vaccine, but overall, the vaccines are a helpful thing and not the opposite.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like seatbelts. Back in the day when they first came out with seatbelts and then they made them mandatory, people said, oh, I've heard people who died because they got trapped in their car. Yeah. How many people have you heard who died because they got ejected from their car? These are odds that we have to play at times. And the odds are you're going to be safer with a safety belt, a seat belt. They don't call them safety belts anymore, with a seat belt than you are without it in a crash. Those are the odds.
That's a complete fact.
So, well, those things went around. Well, I heard about this guy who, if he hadn't had his seatbelt on, he could have gotten out of his car and he was trapped in his. Yeah. You heard about that from whom? Well, Aunt Bessie told me because the lady down the street told her over the backyard fence. Right. So anyway, I discount so many of those things because I've been up close and personal to those. Failed to wear their seatbelts, like the guy in the crash at Carolina Beach. He was ejected on a rolled over several times, found him on the roof of the restaurant that he hit.
Good grief.
And he was dead.
Boy,
So,
yeah.
Vaccinations, y'all can do what you so desire. You can not wear your seatbelts, and if you're on a motorcycle, you don't have to wear your helmet, as far as I'm concerned. It's not going to impact me.
Well, I don't think we had so much of this anti-vaccine going around until COVID.
Yeah, right.
And there was such a division in everything about COVID.
Well, we didn't know where it came from.
Well,
Dr. Rose was not able to confirm exactly that it did not come from those hanging wild animals that they had on display in the chicken market or something.
now they've got a new strain, and supposedly they have found it in bats, but they say there's no danger to humans right now.
Are these ex-wives bats or
bat crazy.
oh, cave bats? Gotcha. I know what's going on now. All right.
Yes.
All right. Dr. Rose, thank you for putting up with us.
Oh, well, I love your questions. They make my day start in a very thoughtful way.
Okay,
We're
let's
going to
go.
have to find one to really stump her.
We just need to go, all of us go down to the Dominican Republic together and spend a week there.
I'm in. I'll even
All right,
wash the
we'll arrange
dishes.
I'll do the cooking.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'll
Ray
get-
for the cook. I'll wash. What are you going to do, Kelly?
And I'll get,
Kelly's going to lay in the lawn chair.
there you go.
Drink
I love it.
mimosas.
What a great ensemble.
All right, that'll work. All right. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Dr.
See
Rose.
Talk to you next week.
Yeah. Speaking of Texas, down there, federal and local lawmen, they move quickly, and their actions saved the day this week. They say a man claiming to have become a woman was planning an attack on police similar to the 2016 Dallas ambush.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys remember that or not. 5 Dallas police officers were killed in that 2016 deal. 7 other people were wounded. In that case, Micah Xavier Johnson told a hostage negotiator that he wanted to kill white people. See, one of the reasons we don't hear a lot about that, he wanted to kill white people with a special focus on police officers. He was later killed by
Goodness.
remember how they got him?
No.
This was a
No.
controversial thing.
Was it a drone?
Nope. Better. They sent that little robot that, goes in and looks for bombs and stuff,
Okay.
but they put a bomb on it and they detonated the bomb when he got inside. Whoops. Cooling his heels in the jail in this case is Seth Grigori. He who has chosen to be identified as Andrea. Oh, yeah. Seth, you're now Andrea. Texas authorities will reveal more details about the plot
What is
they uncovered,
happening?
this time before anyone got hurt. Thank goodness. Good old Seth Andrea is currently being held on charges of making terroristic threats. He likely faces a number of both federal and state charges. Earlier this month, an Indiana teenager, I'm looking at something here that is bothersome. Earlier this same month in February, an Indiana teenager, a female identifying herself as a male, was arrested for planning to kill her classmates. In January, a man who calls himself a woman was arrested in D.C. after asserting that he wanted to kill top Republicans and had knives in the makings of Molotov cocktails. Ryan Michael Riley, he calls himself Riley now, English, 24 of Massachusetts, was arrested after telling police he wanted to kill Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Is this the new thing, transgenders wanting to kill?
No.
I was going to say, is
Is
that
it
what
new,
you're
or
trying
is
to
it-
say?
Or has been going on?
I don't think it has,
I haven't
I
heard
think
about
the
it.
focus has been put on transgender, but there's a whole lot of people want to kill.
I agree with Kelly.
Is it
I don't
a-
think it's a transgender thing. I think it's,
Do you
it's been
think
made to be one.
transgenders are perhaps more psychologically challenged, or may have there may be something there because maybe they're mad, maybe they're being tired of being picked on, maybe they're tired of being the laughingstock of the folks around them. and they just go out to do something drastic, looking for attention, if nothing else.
Well, if that's the case, because there's so many transgender people, there would be way more deaths if that was a thing.
Okay.
So no, I disagree with that.
Well,
So it's kind of
grouping-
like all the airplanes that are happen to be crashing right now. It's got nothing to do with any massive terrorist plot or anything
Correct.
unusual. It's
No.
just that we're hearing about
We're
them.
just hearing about it because it's
Yeah.
a buzzword. It's a almost like it's trendy.
Okay, so we haven't heard of one today. There were a couple yesterday or this week.
Let's not be.
It
We need to
happens
stop
every other
talking
day,
about it.
according to stats.
Yes.
According to stats, there is a quote unquote crash related type of situation involving a thing that you normally flies in the sky. Many times it's on the ground.
Yes.
It's called a wreck at that time, as far as I'm
Oh,
concerned,
Lord.
I
An
think it's,
incident.
because it's two
Right.
vehicles that collide.
Right.
but currently it's
One
just
runs
very
into the other.
newsworthy.
I know.
And that's what it is. It's
That's it.
controversial sparking or
Absolutely.
fear mongering, whatever
Thank
word
you.
you want to use.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well,
That's
it's
what it
just like
is.
we said earlier, the railroads, because Kelly and I were
We
almost on the
Lee and I
quest.
were
We're
having
like,
a
there's something
yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
You know, there's terrorism, there's secrets. I called my nephew who works for the railroad in New York, and that's what he does. He puts
Mhm.
trains back on tracks. He said, it's every day. It is every day.
In Wilmington,
You just don't hear
that-
about it.
with the state port there, at one time there was
Yes.
a huge amount of rail traffic
Mhm.
going in and out of the port of
You
Wilmington.
just talk about
And
the
you
ports.
just don't even,
Ports
there
are
at
it.
Sunny Point,
Right.
Military Ocean
Right.
Terminal, they got all their stuff via rail.
right.
And they shipped it out via rail unless it was if it was coming in by ship, it was shipped out by rail. Sometimes it was shipped in by rail, going to the port to be shipped out by boat.
Right.
And it happened all the time. And yes, some of those derailments involve a car,
Mhm.
I don't know, sliding
Yes.
off a rail, one
Getting
or two,
stuck on, yeah.
but they hit a crack or whatever
Right.
they do. And sometimes, yes, they did take curves too fast.
Yes. Just like
And
people in
just
cars.
like people in cars slide off the roof. Remember, you probably never do, but they came out with stories because kids would show up at school. We had them here. I had them. Cheney Creek, right there where the Chamber of
Yes,
Commerce used to
yes,
be, where the
yes.
wine store is now.
The
that
park,
area.
Phillips Park.
There is a railroad crossing. There was a railroad crossing across Cheney Creek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kids would go out there on the tracks and would put a penny out there on the track. So when the train would come across, that heavy train, it would flatten that penny out. They didn't always find them, but they would find enough. They would I remember several kids bringing them to school. I never did anything like that. I just,
Not me.
but it made a really big flat penny.
Right.
Probably about 3 times the size of a normal penny. They thought it was cool.
Mhm.
I guess it was a thing to do. Ruined a penny.
Yeah.
And for I was a coin collector in those days.
I was
so-
penniless back then.
Oh.
So
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't brought
That
it
was
up
good,
now.
Lee. That was good.
I didn't waste
Say she
pennies.
laughs at you. She just says, "Ugh," when I say
Because
something like
Rayford,
that.
yours are so extreme.
You better be careful.
You guys don't know the stuff he tells us, not on the air.
I'll play Herman's Hermits again.
I don't know what that was all about, but okay. Hey,
Oh, I can tell you.
Oh
see,
no,
Peter and I matched today.
you got dressed together.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
Lord of mercy.
See, Peter got my memo.
Oh, you forgot to send it to us.
I know. Well, I sent it. You didn't read it.
Now, last week we somehow know that we all three were.
Like 2 or 3 days in a row, we had the same
well,
color.
One day is always on Friday, then on
Even
Thursday.
down to our underwear color. Remember?
That's right.
We all had
Not
the same.
saying
That is
we all-
not something you want to discuss publicly.
I'll just say it. We all matched completely. Let's say
How
that.
do
The
you-
underwear issue was brought up and we all checked and we were all.
We all
kind
wear
of
the same
It was
color.
brought up. The
Wow.
two of you said,
What color
the two of you checked. You say, yeah, I'm wearing black. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, Lord. Then they looked at me and I said, oh, Lord.
So he checked and he was wearing black
I was
too.
wearing black
We all
too.
had the same. Mhm.
Only on our show.
Y'all just don't know we think
You'll
alike and
never
it's
hear
creepy.
this anywhere else.
If one of the TV stations starts talking about it tonight.
Then we're gonna know.
Especially if they have to check on the
Yeah,
show.
that's right. Let's check on
Lord,
the
if
air.
they start
Yeah.
doing it, then it'll be
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So how are you?
I am very well. Thank
Mr.
you very
Wright,
much.
ladies, is in the
Sound
house.
better.
If you have questions and dealing with your Medicare, Medicaid, or some changes that you have made or you didn't like that you had made,
Or need the dishes done.
or you need your dishes done, don't call
Yeah.
him for that.
No, you said Mr. Right.
He's not that Mr. Right. He does his own dishes and he suggests you do the same thing, right, Peter?
Yes.
You won't be
sadly.
quite that blunt, though, right? Anyway, Peter's a Medicare specialist. He's he's certified specialist by a whole bunch of different companies, and so it's not some jackleg calling in you on your cell phone every day saying, "I'm here for Medicare," and they speak in broken English, and then they want to try to tell you, "No, hang up." Unless it's Peter speaking broken English, but he speaks proper English. Peter being associated, being involved, and I'm going to go out on a limb here because of your early medical conditions and your issues that you were facing. You went through a whole lot of stuff.
I did. I actually have a story about that today because I thought I would probably reply to that fellow that's phoned in at the end of last show. And I didn't come up with quite the answer. As I drove away, I thought, you know what? I should have said this.
But when you experience something like probably Lee got into the postmaster type stuff because she was getting her mail late at night at the time. So she went in to correct that. And now since she's gone, it's happening again late at night. I'm just kidding. But anyway, we may have reasons. All of us, Kelly may have reasons that she decided to go into the counseling arena, maybe personal reasons or whatever. You have your personal reasons for doing what you're doing today.
Yeah.
But I know that Peter was, because I know a lot of Peter's history, and I think Peter's wanting to address last week's caller, and we know who it was, complaining about insurances in general.
But yeah, basically saying all insurance is bad, really. And I just wanted to focus on the fact that, well, let me tell us a story. Basically, I got really ill when I was about 46 with rheumatoid arthritis. It wiped me out completely. I was in bed for a year and housebound for 10 years or so. I really couldn't walk. I could walk a little bit. I could go up and down stairs just on my knees. I had really thick skin on my knees because that's how I just go up on my up the stairs that way. So I had short-term and long-term disability insurance with a company that shall remain nameless. And the short-term disability worked fine. I think it was either 3 or 6 months long, and then it swapped to long-term disability.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And I was on that for just over 2 years when I got a letter. And I opened it the day I received it, and it said, as of this date today, your long-term disability is being cancelled. And I mean, I was totally disabled at that stage.
Devastated too by that time.
Yeah, so I engaged a lawyer. I got it switched on again for another week, and that was about it. I engaged a lawyer, paid him $18,000 to fight this, and he came back to me after about 6 months, said, I'm not sure what to do now. So
give him my money back.
That had gone. So I got another lawyer to fight it, who took it on at a 25% level, which means you got a very good chance of actually winning it, because if it's a low level, you have chance of getting. They're going to give you 30. They want 35, 40% of the amount or so. So the reason that the insurance company was giving for getting rid of for not paying me anymore was the fact that I never got a positive rheumatoid arthritis factor. Which is a blood analysis which is done to see, check that you do have rheumatoid arthritis. It doesn't that you don't always get that RF factor. When you get rheumatoid arthritis, you can have it severely and not have that factor. But what my doctor said to me was, it only shows up in your blood after 2 years. However, you went on to these medications. I went on to some really tough medications, and she said, you just will not ever show a RF factor because those medications stop you from doing it. So
If they don't cure your problem,
no,
they just keep you from looking like you've got a problem, right?
well,
They help
medically
you
speaking.
function.
they're meant to try to get you, to give you a lot more capability and so on, but it stops your, whatever the factor is, whatever they look
Right.
for in that blood, it does not show up.
So if you stop taking your meds, you can get the money. Then you can't move.
Then I would have been in agony. I would have committed suicide. That's what I was thinking about doing in that first year. It was just so painful. I wanted my arms cut off above my elbows because I just couldn't take the pain. I was actually speaking to surgeons about doing it. It was just so horrible. So that was a case where I really thought that an issue, because when I lost that money, that income, my wife was looking after 3 young kids and me. And, so she didn't have a job. We'd been getting 70% of my income through this insurance company. And I thought it would go on for a while till I got myself sorted out, because my intention was to get back to work. My boss at the company I was working at, which was Bearing Point, had been part of KPMG, had kept my job open, kept it open for 2 3/4 years
Wow,
for me, so I could go back, which was amazing. I mean, that decision to stop the long-term care, I lost my house, I lost all my savings, I went into debt because we didn't have income coming in.
Right.
So if so that insurance, or certainly with that company, I would never get again, and I would be very, very careful of getting any short-term or long-term policy. The other lawyer that I got to take up my case, that thought he had a very good chance to get it, it had to go in front of a judge, and the judge agrees whether you're going to take a case or not. And the judge said, no, I'm not taking a case. And I think the reason was, if they had, that would have opened up a whole lot of people to getting an award as well.
Open up the barn door. Here they come.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to get money from that. So I've had to fight my way back from that, try to get myself out of debt, try to get, my wife had to look for training to get a high paying job. And I'm sure she would have done that anyway, but it was not, it would have been a lot easier with the long-term care, which I should have had.
Folks, there's a reason here that we like Peter around here. He's walked the walk, and he can talk the talk. So if you really need advice, if you're really in a situation, he's not a lawyer, but he can work his way around the insurance plans that are available out there, and he'll find something that will help you. If there's anything out there that will help you, I guarantee you he can find it. All you got to do is listen and ask.
Peter, all of this that you went through and suffered, and is this what made you go into the field that you're into now?
Yes, what happened was I got onto Medicare, and there were, I didn't really know, but I could, when you get, when you're disabled and you're under 65, the supplement plans are out of the question. Really, they're really expensive. They're $400 or $500 a month. When I first got covered, I don't think there were Advantage plans, or they just started to come out. I think they've started to come out the year after I got Medicare. I got it in 2005 in North Carolina. I didn't take an Advantage plan. I actually stayed with Medicare A and B for about 12 years. Might have been a little bit longer. I'm not sure. Somewhere around 12 years with just Medicare A and B, and with no drug plan, because if you got a drug plan, I couldn't get the drugs at no cost from a patient assistance programs. In those days, it was a lot harder to get the patient assistance programs than it is today. And a lot of doctors didn't know about them. I was really lucky I had a friend that worked for a patient assistance program, and she told me how it all worked. So I learned about this, and I now was facing I tried to get back into doing engineering because I love engineering. I love working with my hands, or at least being around people that are working with their hands and doing stuff. So I took a job as a general manager, production manager in a packaging plant, but I could only do it for about 3 or 4 months. So I just got so sore I couldn't do it.
Wow.
So I had to stop that. Then I tried lots of different things. I tried doing stuff on the internet from my home, but I'm a people person. I love talking to people. So I basically fell into it because I thought, I've learned a lot about Medicare. Maybe I could, I tried doing insurance because I knew about, my mother had died with cancer. And I thought maybe I can help people with cancer insurance, but I found it very, very disheartening. And I got from that into life insurance, which I didn't enjoy either. And then I tried this, and I really liked it because I was helping people, and I was getting out, talking to people. It's weird. You do a job and you think you might hate it, or like I took up auditing of software projects, which I thought I would absolutely hate.
Lord.
But I actually really enjoyed it because you go out and you meet people one-to-one and you ask them various questions about what they're doing on the project and so on. And then and instead of then writing a report and just handing it in and causing a lot of grief, I would then call the project manager and the team together and actually go through it before I presented it to the people who had asked me to do the report. Yeah. And I said, look, you're absolutely, it was in 12 out of the 14 cases, you're absolutely doing a bad job here, and you need to do this, that, the other, and they'd be grateful and they'd accept it. If you can talk to them. And the one case where I couldn't speak to the project manager, they were not. And I put the report in. It went the same way as it would if a auditor comes and does it and doesn't go through your findings and so on. And I'm saying there's a lot of things wrong. There were things also that were good, and so I did mention those as well.
Okay.
But
cool. So we're in February. We're all dang near in March. Just a couple of days away now. Where did the 2 months go? First week January seemed like it lasted forever, and then February is, and then we're in March, Friday.
Yeah.
So where are people out there now? There are some people that can be helped who may have made a mistake in making their plan selections, their advantage plan selection,
or haven't made a plan selection,
haven't made one at all.
Yeah.
If y'all have still got A and B, parts A and B on your Medicare, or you have just become a Medicare recipient, now is your opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Call Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah. He will be glad, absolutely thrilled to help you. And you probably, and it's not just because we know you, but it's because we got to know you that the three of us have been helped tremendously. I knew so little about insurance. I knew more about the sex life of a bumblebee than I knew about insurance. And I know nothing about that. So I insurance, okay, that's what they give me, and that's what I got it. Not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I knew. The doctor turned it in, and if the doctor didn't turn it in, I didn't file it. I never got anything because I never filed anything. My wife is taking on that project now, though. But once I got changed over, I've learned a whole lot with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're an educator.
Oh, Peter's my go-to.
Oh, absolutely.
I've gotten so many family members hooked up with him, clients, friends, co-workers. I call Peter.
Well, you guys can do the same thing, and we're not trying to sell him.
No, I'm just saying Peter knows his stuff.
We're trying to help you, and we, the three of us, believe in it. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
And I really
the best.
appreciate the feedback from everybody. You say
He's
it,
the best.
and I really do
all right,
appreciate it.
today and tomorrow, you're going to be at Walmart, Wally World up on Market Street. Oh, God, that takes me back to 20 years ago on Marine Boulevard here in Jacksonville. It's at the intersection of Western Boulevard, right behind the Golden Corral. I'll be over there today or tomorrow at the Golden Corral. I'm not sure which day I'm going to go
Hey,
pig out.
you could just kind of let the rest of us.
There you go.
Might want to go.
I have got to stop pigging out. My weight yesterday morning was
I don't-
201 pounds. I've
You can fix
put
that.
on
What?
30 pounds.
You can
There's
fix
no way. Your scales
you
need
need
to clear.
you need-
We, there's no
I
way.
wish,
No,
I
no.
wish that
You need to take
Where
weights
is
out of
his
your pocket.
weight? I think the little extra weight looks good on you, Peter.
It
And I
looks great,
think
but I don't
Well,
think he
thank
looks
you,
like
but
he
it-
weighs 200
good.
pounds.
it's going to go now.
you got orthopedic shoes on or something. What's going on?
You putting rocks in your shoes when you,
It's got diverse
Weight?
weights attached to it.
I don't know, but there's no way he weighs 200 pounds.
Okay. So anyway, you're at the Walmart this week, today and tomorrow from 10 o'clock. So he'll be there in about 2 hours from 10 until 3 o'clock. If they can't reach you, don't have an opportunity to go see you, and they probably, you're going to be into March by next week when you're there. So you can reach out and talk with Peter by phone as well. Now, I'm going to give you a number and you tell me when I got it wrong. 252-675-4488.
You got it right.
Dang. 252-675-4488. Now, the other thing you can do is you got let your fingers do some walking, get on that thing and hit on the internet thingamabobber that pops up. And when you get that little window at the top of it, you put in there foxplans.com. That's FOX plans.com. And you will get some information, also contact information. You'll have an email address there too. And they can just fill out some information or requests and send it along and you'll get back to them, right?
Yep. Or it's peter@foxplans.com. It's
Or
an
if you
email
want to do
address.
straight email, peter@foxplans.com.
I never knew your email address. It's good to know.
You never told us
Yeah, I'm
that.
going to write that down.
I got a telephone number. I text him all the
time.
Yeah,
I've texted
text.
Peter at like 10 o'clock at night before.
Texting is a good way to
Shame
get
on you.
hold of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame
Yeah,
on you.
texting and phone calls.
Okay. The people that you can help, I'm just looking at this thing here because there is a time right now that you can still help people. If you've moved into Onslow County or to any other county from some other county, your plans that you had in that other county might not be available to you because you moved to a different county, right?
Well, when you move to a different county, you get the right to look at the
You get a
get
right
a
to do it
special
too.
election period.
Yeah, but you also have the plan that you had might not even be available to you. If you live in Onslow County,
Yeah, yeah.
if you've got some
Yeah.
other ABC plan, it may not work here in Onslow, right?
That's right.
So you need to do that. But if you moved into any county, wherever in North Carolina, you probably ought to reach out to Peter and talk to him and find out what your best laid plans of mice and men would be. Okay, there's a big one around here. It's called retiring. A lot of people retire. A lot of people stay here. A lot of people may have had an insurance plan with their company. And they say, well, I don't really need anything, but I'm turning 65 and I'm leaving the company. And I probably need to get something. Yes, I'll get my Medicare, but is there something else I need to know? Because I've been taken care of my entire life, like I was, by the employer.
Mhm.
They need to see you, don't they?
Yeah, it makes a lot of it really helps people to know what's going on, and it is a very there's lots of different scenarios and it makes it a lot easier to actually I can help people navigate through it, show you how to work out which plan is most likely the best one for you, show you how to get your drugs cheaply by going to different pharmacies or
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's one of the other things. When you go to see him, I strongly recommend you write down every doctor that you're seeing or that you might be seeing. It could be an eye doctor or whatever, or a hearing specialist or anything like that. If you've got any of that, what did you say?
What?
Turn your headphones up. You'll hear me.
I heard you.
if you go to see Peter or call him or whatever, have a list of all the doctors that you're currently seeing or that you might want to see or might have to see.
Yeah.
Your drugs that you currently are taking.
The drugs are a big one,
And
because
that's a biggie.
because if you want to analyze your drug situation, you can think, oh, I can do this myself or whatever. But if you want to analyze that drug situation, you've really, like I went to somebody's house yesterday who is just turning 65, and we put the drugs in, and then we checked various things, and it really, it comes up with, oh, this plan may be the most cost efficient for you. But when you look at it and you actually look at some of the other plans, you can see, oh, well, if I went to this pharmacy, or I've used the brand name rather than the generic name of the drug that I'm using at the moment, hey, I can get this a lot cheaper with this other company than I can with the first one.
Don't always be fooled, just like you just mentioned. Do not always be fooled by generic versus brand name, because sometimes the brand names, it depends upon your insurance plan, may be covered better than the generic brands for that plan, right?
Yeah, I came across that yesterday with Brio, an inhaler. It was covered. This is in a different county, but it was covered at a far cheaper price as a brand name than it was as a generic name.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Who else needs to come see you now?
Anybody really, because
Okay.
that's what I would say. Whatever your situation, and we can see what we can do.
Okay. All right.
So wide open.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's wide open. And
'Cause,
again, what else we got over here?
um,
We've talked a little bit from time to time, supplement or advantage plans. What do you suggest?
well, I think there are a few, if I would say overall, I mean, what I find is most people take an advantage plan nowadays. The figures are, advantage plans came out about 20 years ago in this area, but over the whole of the US, we had supplement plans. We've had them for about 60 years. And then advantage plans came out in the last 20, 25 years over the whole of the US. And in that time, advantage plans are now taken over more. The ratio of advantage plans to supplement plans is higher. There's 52% of people with advantage plans compared to 48% of people with supplement
And I
plans.
imagine that's going to grow.
I imagine so, because there's so many times I save people $5,000. I saved one person $10,000 last year, or it looked like we were going to save them $10,000. I can't say for sure that's what it is, but I've had other people come and tell me I saved them as a couple $10,000 in a year. It's the advantage plans, why the reason for that is let me go back to a presentation I was giving just yesterday. Because the person knew nothing about supplement plans or advantage plans. You've got Medicare,
Right.
which pays for 80% of your costs. It's got Part A and Part B. The Part A does the hospital, Part B does the doctor, and that pays 80% of your costs. But if you want to cover the other 20% of your costs, then you've got to have either a supplement plan with a separate drug plan, or you can take an advantage plan. If you have a supplement plan, you're basically paying you start off at 65, basically paying somewhere around $100 a month, and you have a drug plan. It may be a zero cost, it may be a $25, $40 cost for that drug plan each month. And that doesn't sound too bad. That pays the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay. But It doesn't pay anything else. It doesn't give you the dental benefits, the vision benefits, the transportation, the other stuff that you can get with an Advantage plan.
There's so much here available for you folks. Even if you you're on a plan right now, you might not know what you're entitled to. You might not know what's available to you. I found out that making a little switch here, I got $84 for every 3 months just to go spend on Band-Aids if I want to spend them on anything like that. Band-Aids, aspirin, stuff that's over the counter that I got to buy.
Mm-hmm.
I can now put it on this card instead of
Paying
taking it out of my cash.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the plan that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Duh. And you got to use it or lose it too, don't you?
Yeah.
So I got 32 days to lose it.
So
I got part of it done. Okay.
So the problem with the Medicare supplement plans is every year as you get older, the cost of that, or almost every year, the first 3 years or so, the cost may be frozen, but after that, you pay, your amount is going up each year that you're having to pay for that supplement plan.
Right.
And as you take more drugs, you need to get a richer drug plan.
Mhm.
So I come across people paying $250 up to $300, maybe more, sometimes for their supplement plan, and they're paying maybe $145 for their drug plan, and then they've still got to pay for some of that, for their drugs as well.
And just for you folks who want to know, I'm paying nothing extra for mine. Zero, zilch, zippo. So either I got a windfall somewhere or something's working right finally.
Your plan's good.
So the plan is good.
Yeah.
Talk to Peter. Just ask him what plan I'm on and see if it'll fit yours or Kelly's or
Mhm.
Lee's or whoever. So we've all got different plans here.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
All right. Peter, thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
We do appreciate you coming in again, sir. And we'll see you on next Wednesday. You're going to be here?
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Good, because that'll be the first Wednesday in the new month of March, and then we're going to start talking about a deadline. So y'all need to pay attention to next week and get ready for that deadline. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till next October.
October.
Yep.
Okay. There will be some exceptions, of course, like brand new, turn 65, you get your Medicare card. They're
Yeah.
still eligible to do things, but
Yeah.
So-
Or losing Medicare, Medicaid, or
those things
low
like that.
income subsidy, or gaining it. There's various.
We'll
ways
talk
to-
about some of those things
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
beginning after the
Yeah.
March deadline rolls around. Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
Go enjoy the
Yeah.
weather.
It's gonna be good.
My
Yeah.
goodness gracious.
Yeah, I
Good
don't
to
have to
know.
wear.
Yeah.
I don't have to wear so much in Walmart.
There you go.
It's been freezing.
Yeah.
It's
it has
always
been.
cold.
I have to wear a coat when I go into
You
Walmart.
have to wear gloves. It's
Oh.
cold in there.
Well, it's
Yeah,
all
I was wearing t-shirt, a shirt, a really thick jersey, jumper. I'm not sure.
You
what
were
to
right
call
by
them.
the door, and every time that door opened, it was like a gust
and
of
a
wind.
jacket on top of that. So,
My goodness.
I need to get him a space heater for his desk there.
That'd be good. That's what I would do. All right, Peter, thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Real quick, like I know you've got to jump and run, right?
No, I'm
Oh,
going to move
oh, you
seats with
just-
Lee.
We're
changing
changing
seats.
seats.
You're not going to jump and run. You're going to hop. Okay.
Yeah.
A really nice day is yesterday we had. We're going to have another one today. Temperatures got really warm really fast yesterday, and they cooled off last night to around 30 here at the studio, and at the airport, I think it got down to 30. Winds today offshore 5 to 10 knots, becoming southwesterly this afternoon, 2 to 4 footers. Near shore seas only 1 foot, then around 2 feet this afternoon. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, increasing to 20 to 25 in the afternoon. Gusts to 30, seas 4 to 6. Sounds and rivers choppy, becoming a little bit on the rough side in the afternoon. Friday, yuck. Northwesterly winds 15 to 20, offshore gust to 30. Westerly 10 to 15 in the afternoon, seas 3 to 5, sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon. The inlets are going to be like a washing machine, lots of turbulence.
Today it'll be sunny, high of 74. Tonight it'll be clear, low of 53. Tomorrow it will be mostly sunny, a high of 77 with 26-mile-an-hour gusts at times. Tomorrow night there's a 40% chance of rain. Then at some point it does actually clear off with a low of 43 with gusty winds. And then on Friday, sunny, high of 64 and 18-mile-an-hour gusts. So
Well,
Not
that's
bad.
gonna be nice weather. And, it's going to be nice weather to be a retired individual, won't it?
Mhm.
Around this neck of the woods. We got a gentleman here who's in the process of retiring completely. Maybe, sort of, kind of. Mike Inero retired last year, I guess, as the police chief. Maintained his duties, kept his duties as the director of the Department of Public Service here in Jacksonville.
Safety.
Safety, public safety.
You're okay.
I don't, yeah, right. Whatever. Anyway, Chief Yanero is become a friend of mine since 2011 or so when I first took on this job and got to meet him. And he was the first interview we had on the show, just in case y'all care. Maybe you'll be on trivia one day. Chief, looking forward to full retirement. You're going to do it. Another retirement.
Well, I am going to retire from the police and the fire department and public safety, but I'm not going to retire from community service.
Here comes the but.
Okay. All right.
I mean, there's a lot of things.
From what I saw over there, you're going to be a dog handler.
A dog handler.
With my doggy over there,
Yeah.
all over you. You've got him. Oh man,
He's
he's
got
got
his
you
favorite
wrapped
coat.
around his little paws, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Well, you're a board member of the YMCA, and you're also on another local. Is it
The One Place Board.
One Place? Yes.
And I think that's part of the direction that I'm going to go is, I have a passion, especially for abused children, getting them the resources they need to make sure that they live a better life.
Sure.
Because in 40 some years of being a police officer, one of the things that I saw was that a lot of times the same children that witness domestic violence or witness violence in the home, those were the folks that I had to deal with a number of years later.
As the abusers, the abused sometimes become the abusers.
That's true.
Too often.
That's true. A lot of the homicide suspects that I interviewed talked about how they've been abused as children. So I think, I said yesterday that community service never stops; it just evolves. And I think that's where I'm at this point in my life, is that it's going to evolve into something a little bit different than it has been for the past 40 some years.
And I will guarantee you that you will carry on in the capacity as a law enforcement officer, at least up here above in the brains. You'll always be a cop, not a doubt in my mind. Once you are, you always will be. And as a very nice district attorney told me one day when I said, that's not what I have to do. I don't do that kind of stuff. He says, did you ever untake that oath of office that you took? No. He said, well, you still have sworn to uphold the law, haven't you? Yeah, I guess so. It's just something that you're there with them. It's a mentality.
And I'm going to still be on the Governor's Crime Commission,
Right.
and I'll still have. There's some other committees that I'm on, the in-service training committee, that I'll continue with, and then for the last 30 years I've been doing CALEA assessments, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll continue those as well.
Cool.
So the CALEA assessments give me an opportunity to go to a police department and to learn all that they do. And it's as close to working at a police department as you can get without actually working there.
So you learn what they're doing and
how they're doing it. And, a lot of the things that we did with the Center for Public Safety came from going to different departments and seeing what they did and how they constructed their facility. My staff used to hate when I came back from those because I'd give them several different things to look at.
yes.
And they've been very beneficial for us.
Well, I know you'll be in and out of the Department of Public Safety without any doubt in my mind for forever, no doubt. But there may be some other things you may be thinking about as service to the city of the citizens of Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, there is.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, maybe getting involved in some politics.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, wait, we need to talk.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, and
We need to talk.
We need some good people. We need some experienced
Yes.
good people in all areas of political work.
well, I've spent a lot of time with, obviously, with child abuse and
Mhm.
children, but also with the homeless, the mental health issues, the opioid issues, and I think looking at other opportunities gives me some opportunities to help those causes in a number of different ways. Because I think, we made this our home and we're going to continue to live here.
That was going to be a question. You're going to hang in Jacksonville.
I think it'd take dynamite to get my wife out of here. But
That's good. We welcome you. We want you to be here.
that and part of what I've tried to do for the last 20 years is make the community safer, and I want to continue that. I want to continue that length of service. And I said yesterday, my grandfather, he was a World War I veteran,
Oh, really?
and
Wow.
he lost his brother Michael
Mhm.
coming over back from fighting in Europe in 1907. And one of the things he used to tell me was that he had to suffer so that our next generation could live better. And I think I took that to heart. And as long as I live, I think that I'll do what I can to make the generation for my children better, and the generation for all of my family. I think about the One Place family, the Y family, the public safety family, the city family. If I can do things to make those things make it better for them, then I want to continue to do that.
Would you think the department would be interested in having this signed hardcover Operation Crime Stop
Wow, that's
for your display?
I took that book that
Yeah.
you have, and we have it in our display
Oh, good.
case.
Good.
Because a lot of the
Well, this is a friend of mine who used to be, he was first SBI here in Jacksonville. Then he was NIS before it became the other one. And he's retired now, but he's still got this. And Chief Cook autographed it and gave it to him.
Wow.
And he wants to donate it to the department.
we bought some in the atrium. We've bought some cabinets, and we've taken some stuff that we
Sure.
got from Chief Cook and
Uh-huh.
we got from Chief Halbert, and displayed those. And I think that's important that we remember where we came from.
Absolutely. I might even have a radio or two out there from that era that was it taken out of service. But I think you've got some of them down there. From what I've seen, some old
Yeah,
ones.
we've got a few old radios.
Wish you still had that big console that was in there. Whew, that old monster.
I remember that night the
Tubes.
Ham Radio Club was upstairs, and
Yeah.
when we came downstairs, we were looking at all those cases there,
Mhm.
remarking, "There's Chief Cook and
Yeah.
Chief
lots of
Howard."
folks
Yeah,
in.
it was going way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, that's cool. But, okay, so political atmosphere. You've mentioned it. You've opened that door. I'm thinking there's a mayor here that used to be a police officer for the city of Jacksonville. And he,
Yeah.
and he was, I think, on city council for a while.
Yes.
Then, is there an opening coming up on city council that might fit you?
There might be.
There'll be some people getting ready to retire completely.
Uh-huh. So, would you entertain
I think I would.
okay,
I think,
good.
I would gladly support you,
I'm tired
Chief.
of beating around the bush here. You're going to run for city council, right?
I think that will help on those causes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really am passionate about making sure that we have a safe community. And I
Right.
think that's another opportunity to do that.
Well, I think with Mayor Phillips and some of the others that have been on there with prior law enforcement that have grown up in the community, it really helps the community. We don't seem to have the strife, the bickering, the fighting, the garbage that you have in a lot of other cities.
I think we have an excellent city council.
We do.
Excellent.
I think so too.
I mean, they all each bring a different element to the table, which I'm glad. We don't want everybody being like, the Stepford wives or anything, but it's nice to have different views, and when they can hash it out and talk about it and come to a mutual agreement about what would be best for the city, the citizens of the city. That's always good.
I know this is way too premature,
No, it's
but
not.
you're talking about the possibility. You're thinking hard about like running for a city council seat and working in the political field for a while, which actually I don't really consider that so political in the city council because they don't get into all the drama. But would you eventually like set your sights for running for something like a state representative or a state senator if the position opened up?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been in local politics for my entire life,
Sure.
and I really think that locally, that's where the rubber hits the
Grassroots.
road.
Right. Yeah, I agree
because-
with that.
I think the federal government is so disconnected from that. If you really want to make a difference locally,
Right.
you can make a difference.
Yes. I think you're right there. And the city council would be fantastic start for you. You know everybody, they respect you. And I think a lot of what you can bring to the table would really be helpful. So, and we live in a great city. I love my city.
Mm-hmm.
I love mine.
I moved back here.
Yes.
I do too. I think, when I came here 20 some years ago, people welcomed me with open arms. They were very, very loving. They
Right.
they took in my, not just me, but my family as well. So, it's been a great place and my son and daughter grew up here. And
Yeah.
so it's,
They're Jacksonville graduates, aren't they?
You're about as local as they
White
get.
Oak.
Oh, okay. I'll let you slide. I'm sorry. My daughter's White Oak too.
My
so-
granddaughter's White Oak.
Yeah.
They went to White Oak.
Okay.
See, well, we'll let it slide.
Back in the day, there was no White Oak.
Not that far back now. There was a White Oak when I was in high school, but I was on the Jacksonville line.
There was not when I was in high school.
We're not going to compare years, okay?
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
There's not that much difference.
A lot of folks will want to jump into a political arena and they want to say, there's some things that have been going on that I just don't like. Some people do it for that reason. Do you have anything that you don't like? Or do you have some things that you want to advance?
I think it's the, when I think about the homeless issue and I think about the mental
yes.
health issue and I think about the child abuse, all those people really have no voice. And one of the things I think is important is that that we as a community need to give them that voice. Because I think about the homeless issue, most of those folks are either substance abuse or mental health. Yeah, I mean that line is very, very blurred, and if we're really going to have an impact, what we need to do is, I'm sure Kelly could talk about that, is get them into some type of services so that they can live a productive life. I mean, we talked about the child abuse. A lot of times it's mental health, it's substance abuse, where these children are abused, and then that cycle continues. And if we're ever going to break that cycle, we got to continue to work to make sure that we're living in a safer place. I think about the Child Advocacy Center. The Child Advocacy Center, and I often say that it restores your innocence. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important. I think it's important that you work to make sure that those kids get what they need so that they live productive lives.
Well, Yeah, I totally agree with it, with all of that. And one of the things that I do like what I have seen with you and also with the last couple of sheriffs we've had and current sheriff, and we seem to have an inner law enforcement relationship that doesn't stop at the jurisdictional lines. And that it goes out actually beyond just Onslow County too. With other,
Yeah.
'cause we got 5 municipalities, I think it's 5 in Onslow County.
And you know, Sheriff Thomas is a great guy, and we've been working on a number of projects together. We've been working on the DNA, the NIBIN system, and I think it's those kinds of relationships and those kinds of collaboration that can make communities a better place.
Okay, now we got law enforcement handled. We got a governing body that governs the entire county. We have 5 individual boroughs, if you want to call them that, with 5 different governments. Can we all get together?
I think in the future we're going to have to get together. I think it's important that communities work together. It's just like if you know, one of the conversations I had with Sheriff Thomas is when he first became in office, is talked about what they do and what we do, and there's no need to duplicate those efforts.
Right.
And I think that's what we need to do is look at the county, what the county services provide, look at the small municipalities, what they provide, and try to see where we can to make it more effective.
A lot of the locals around here will remember back in the day, Richlands had, you had to call a long distance to call Richlands from Jacksonville. You had to call long distance to call Holly Ridge, Sneads Ferry, Swansboro, Surf City. You couldn't call anywhere without dialing a 1 and pay for a long distance call. We're not like that anymore.
No, we're not.
We're all one big community. We may have our individual governments, but you know, we are much closer today than we were back then. Richlands was a half a day trip there and back, basically. You know, and Jacksonville to Holly Ridge. Oh my God, you're almost in Wilmington. In those days, it was an outing. Today you can run down there for lunch.
Yeah.
All right, I have another question. Put you on the spot here. You're talking about politics. Oh yeah. If something came up on a county level and say we knew there was going to be some openings for county commissioners this next go round, which is not far away, would you consider that?
Well, I think local politics are where we can really make differences. You know, and I think about the state. I mean, Senator Lozara
Oh, he's fantastic.
and
Yes.
Phil Shepard,
Yes.
they've done an excellent job for Onslow County.
Yes, they have.
And you know, I think you look for, again, one of the things that I said is community service doesn't stop when I hang up my gun and badge and walk out the door.
See, that's a true community leader, and that's
That's it.
who you want to see to advance into the political world as far as what you can bring to us and help us with.
That's what we want to see.
Yes.
Well,
Exactly.
it evolves. So
Yes.
I think that the Department of Public Safety has some really quality folks that are stepping up to the plate, and that's what you want to see. What you want to see is what I did, help them reach their fullest potential, and I think a lot of them are moving that way and moving the whole department in a better direction.
I guess one of the biggest departments and the most visible department in the city is going to be the police department,
That's
Sure.
true.
Department of Public Safety. Got it right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank God.
It's
Um,
okay. We've just had a rough morning. It started with Henry.
I gave her a song this morning before showtime, and now she's still got it in her
It's
head.
been in her head. Henry.
Herman's. Yeah, I'm Henry VIII. I am. But so anyway, now she's
Now
still
he's
thinking
stuck
about
with it the
it.
rest of
She's
the
never
day.
heard it. He's a young guy. The police department, the city council, you guys get along pretty well.
We do.
I haven't
Yes, we
seen
do.
any bickering. I haven't seen any, you better be doing things this way, or people running and screaming to council complaining about the police department.
I mean, I've been lucky to have some great council people to work with, and I said that yesterday. I said, you know, Mayor Jones, Mayor Slagle,
Yes.
Mayor Phillips,
Mhm.
and then a lot of the city councilmen like Bob Warden and Dr. Washington
Mhm.
and Brian Jackson, Logan Sosa, Mike Lazaro when he was there, Cindy Edwards. I mean, all those folks are quality folks, and you know what strikes me about that is they really cared about the community, just like Mr. Bittner. I mean, he was the city manager, and then he moved to the city council, and he's been in the city council
Yes.
for a long time. And so I think those relationships between the police department and the city manager, the city management team, Mr. Ray and Dr. Woodruff and Ken Hagan and Christoph Bauer. I mean, we all had good relationships. And, you know, what struck me about those relationships is it was always about moving the department forward. I was talking to somebody about the police department, and I said, you know, there was a lot of things that I asked for that I wanted that I didn't get. But when it came right down to it, the things that officers and firefighters really needed, the city never hesitated on those things. And I think that's a testament to what they have done. You know, it's not what I've accomplished; it's what we've accomplished.
Well, the city, the police department, the city council, you guys are kind of boring to the news media because you don't get up there and scream and holler. You don't have a bunch of things that are going on. You don't have, I shouldn't even mention it, should I, about hostage taking situations and all that, 25 car pileups on Western Boulevard. You don't have any of that stuff until today,
I'm going
probably.
the long
but-
way home now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
knock on wood.
Yeah, but it really is, it's an indication of a well-oiled operation. And it doesn't start at just the police department, it certainly doesn't start with just city council, or it's a term that's used too much, is a team effort. And it really is. This whole process, I've watched it for decades. And God knows, years ago, you could go to a city council meeting and have a lead story in a heartbeat. It was always not good either.
Well, we're lucky. We live in a community that is so forward thinking, and you know, over the last 20 years, I've seen the city grow, and I've seen a lot of great things that the city has done.
But you also have not alienated the public. That's a big thing. If a city, whatever part of the government you're in, the police department, fire department, or city hall, if you alienate the people, that you know more than they know, then they're going to take you personal.
You know, I tell this story. My wife, when we were in Bristol, I had been promoted to deputy chief, and I was a young deputy chief. And my wife came home one day, and on the main street of town, she was going to a toy shop with my children, and somebody kind of panhandled her, and she got very scared, and she left.
Oh, really?
And so I did what I normally do. I went to I said, you know, I'll do what I normally do. I'll arrest somebody. So I went down there looking for the person that tried to get money from her. And, you know, I started talking to the merchants, and they said, this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue. So for my entire career, I used to walk the downtown at least once a day and listen to those concerns. And what I did is I took that with me here because it's so important to hear people's concerns. Because if you don't know their concerns, then you can't address them. And I think that's probably the most important thing, how we hear, how we actively listen to people is probably the most important thing that we can do to make our community a better place to live.
Well, I tell you what, I don't hear any complaints. You're going to hear something, I'm sure. And somebody will probably call in and say, well, your taxes are too high. Or, I saw a police car running 38 miles an hour in a 35 zone. How many times do you get that one?
Quite a bit.
Yeah. Pick your battles, everybody's human. Those guys wearing badges are human too. But it's just running so smoothly. I don't know why you even want to join it. It's going to be boring. Don't you think?
Well, I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to continue my community service. I think I owe it to those people. And just like my grandfather said, you gotta work to make the next generation better.
You know what? That's that one probably should be put on a wall somewhere.
It should be.
It's that would be a very good one. We need to work to make the next generation better. So,
I like that. And I will tell you, and I promise you that if you do go into running for an office, I will be more than happy to volunteer to work on your team.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
she's
I have
really
a
good at
little bit of
paperwork.
experience, but
She's really good at knowing what to
yeah.
dodge as far as paperwork is concerned, because paperwork can, as you know, in anything can overwhelm you.
campaign
And
finance, yeah, I've
campaigning
been
is
dealing with that
a
for a
bear.
while. Yes, but
It's a bear.
yes, but I'll be, because I respect what you've done for us here in Jacksonville and the county, and how I've learned you to be, and I think that you'll make a great politician in a leadership field. So I'll be more than happy to help you in any way, even if it's just putting out signs or standing on a sidewalk, handing out flyers. I'll be more than happy to help you. So count on me.
And Kelly's probably she's going to be the negative force here on the team today. So she's got something negative to say, right? Kelly?
No, not Kelly.
No, not towards him, towards you maybe.
It's coming.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're going to have a battle. Everybody's waiting right now. What seat are you running for? I got to pretty well know, I would think, but
Well, yeah,
You're
I'm
not-
thinking too, but
gonna be a
I'm not
vacancy,
going
right?
to spoil that for him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at it in July and see
Okay.
what's.
Until other people make announcements,
I understand.
But I know one I'm cornering soon when he walks by my house.
What?
Nothing. Like, come here, I want to talk to you.
All right. Well,
Just kidding.
Chief, we appreciate you coming in
Yes.
again and again, and I'm counting on you having you in here as a councilman too.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
So
Or
I
a mayor,
appreciate,
or a
you know-
commissioner, or
whatever you want to
Or
run for.
mayor.
yeah, I mean, that's what I said. Or mayor. I'm just, hey, Sammy.
Go on.
I mean, yeah, I'm going for it. I mean, or House representative, or whatever, and eventually a U.S. congressman. So hey, we've got this all planned out for him.
Should we call Dr. Murphy now and tell him to step aside?
No, I mean
What are you
he
doing?
may one day step down,
Yeah.
and or they may change our district. We go through this every year, So
Well, we need a better governor, so there's that.
yeah, there's
Saying.
governor.
Saying.
You know people in Raleigh. Oh,
Yeah, but you would have to sort of move to Raleigh, and that
Yeah.
and that
Nobody
mansion up
wants to
there is
do
not
that.
what you really would be. You'd be a step down.
That would,
It would be a step.
It would be a
That
step
would be,
down.
yeah.
Well, your kids are graduated, aren't they?
Yeah, they still don't want to go see him in Raleigh. Like,
No,
oh,
they're
that's
off doing
fine.
their own thing. I'm sure his wife wouldn't mind being first lady for 8
No,
years.
have
I
you,
would-
have you been inside that mansion?
It's.
Why would I want to know?
I have.
I have. It ain't what it's.
No, no. Mm.
Yeah.
I've been in the General
Must-
Assembly, but I've never
Musty
been
and
in the.
dusty and
Oh,
old
no.
and
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Like,
Yeah.
urban
Well,
renewal.
see, him and Mike can commute during the
Together,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, they can get an
You could
apartment over there together and just kind of hang out. And come
Yeah.
home on the weekends. His wife can stay here. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, we've got it.
Yeah.
We've got it worked out.
She's asking me, if you have something, maybe Robin, you could take him with you too.
Three of them go up there.
Yeah, so anyway. All right, Chief, I do appreciate
I
you
look
coming in.
forward to
And
it.
I look forward. It's exciting to me.
Mhm.
I'm
I think so too.
happy to hear it.
And just knowing somebody of your caliber and your experience and your knowledge that wants to do this, I
Mhm.
think is fantastic. Because we've seen it every political season. Some of the people coming out of the woodwork, which they have the right to do,
Mhm.
but had no clue whatsoever. No clue whatsoever. And they've come on the show and we're like, why are you running? You
I
know, we
would
wanted to
dare
say that.
say that knowing that a lot of the people that might even think about
Right,
may think that they're qualified
right.
to sit on city council, and there are some that are possibly qualified to sit. I can't think of one that is more suited to the
That's
slot.
what I'm trying
They
to
would not
say, yes.
have to be retrofitted.
I do want to ask, when is your last day as public safety director?
Well, I started as a paramedic in 1975 on April the 21st.
I know what day it's going to be then.
It's April the 21st.
Okay, I knew it was April. I
1975
remember
to,
that,
to
but
So that's
2025
Easter
will be
Monday.
a big 5-0.
That's a
It's-
Monday.
It's
yeah.
Easter Monday.
It's
Yeah.
Easter Monday.
A big 5-0, 50 years, a half century of public service.
wow, congratulations
Yeah.
and thank you.
So
April
that will be
21st.
the perfect.
What to
perfect
remember? I'm
time.
putting that on our calendar.
Have a
So-
party.
Yeah.
I
Are
think
you
we
going
need
to have any type of?
Yeah, we're gonna have a reception.
Oh, nice. April 21st. I'm putting that down.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so then after that, you can go full speed campaigning.
You can do.
Sound like a winner.
Well, I don't know that it'd be.
I don't know if
Well,
you
I
can
don't
do
know. I
that
have to
yet.
check the calendars.
Yeah.
Well, campaigning doesn't start the day you sign up.
No, but
need
you
to-
got to see. You got to wait till it opens
You
up.
can't
Doesn't I know?
publicly
Right.
declare.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
I'm talking about
You're
meet and
trying
greet
to, stop
people.
trying to get him in trouble.
Meet and greet people.
You're trying to
can
get
meet
a
and greet.
scandal
listen to
going
Rayford.
before one even starts.
Don't listen to Ray.
Yeah.
There are ways.
Rayford's just
We'll
trying
talk.
to create scandal.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
And it'll be totally legal. I would not, and
Take
he
my
wouldn't even
caps
do it
off.
if I encouraged him to do something illegal. Did you say you wanted to be a canine officer one time?
I thought about that. It's been a long time ago, but the
Seemed like I heard that one time.
the best job I ever had was detective supervisor. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the best job by
Cool.
far I ever had, because I got to still work cases,
Mhm.
and I could pick and choose what cases I worked, but that was by far the best job I ever had. That detective and the detective supervisor were the best jobs I ever had.
Well, I could just see you as a canine guy though, and you could use somebody like my little shockwave over there that he was attacking you when you were in
Go on.
here, tail wagging back and forth.
He's out.
Yeah,
The
he's
two
all
of you,
walking.
can you imagine the two of you walking the beat together? This mild-mannered individual who could talk you into going to jail, I have no doubt about it, without having to put the cuffs on you. Talk you into going to jail, and Shockwave would lead the way, licking them all the way. That would be a
We
combination.
add Lucy to the mix to give him some excitement. And,
I'm training mine for K9,
Yeah, right.
how to hunt for food.
We have a new canine who's a therapy dog,
Oh,
Okay.
and part of what we've been trying to do over the last several years is worry about the health of officers, because
Oh, yes.
the normal public safety or firefighter or police officer has 800 critical events. The normal person has 3, and those are life-changing events that you remember. And I go drive down the street and you say, well, I worked a fatal car crash here or homicide here.
I've done that with my wife. I said, that car that was down in the ditch here and there were 3 people over it. She says, you need to stop that.
Well, what it does is it raises your blood pressure.
Yes.
And we're on the cusp really about learning what PTSD does to first responders, because the average age of a police officer is 68 years old. And so we got to do better things. And the therapy dog is one of those things, is because it reduces the stress. You know, every time you pet your dog, it reduces stress. And it's so important, you know, that, you know, when we bring these young police officers, firefighters in there, that we return them after 30 years better than when we got them. And the way to do that is to improve their mental health. Make sure that they're, you know,
Right.
that we're taking care of them.
I'm glad somebody's taking care of them these days. At one time, they didn't even take care of hearing protection at the range.
That's
Did you know
right.
that?
Yeah.
This year will tell you all about it. So, okay, we kept you long enough. You want me to pass out the buttons now, or have you got them printed yet, or you can't do that yet?
I know, great printer in town.
All right, Chief, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
for having, and thank you for getting our message out for so long.
Oh, that's what we want to
Well,
do.
we have
you know.
Officer Guzman coming in tomorrow to talk about the academy.
Oh, good.
And I'm in the process of sending Sarah an email saying about this therapy dog.
Yes.
Can we bring him in?
You want to bring the dog in here? Eh?
Oh, absolutely.
You know
I'll
Kelly.
be petting that dog.
Well, we're going to have to lock up the others
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they will all be
Can't have
together
mayhem in
loving
here.
each other.
Yeah, but
Not
we
them.
enjoy talking about the sheriff's office and the Jacksonville Public Safety Office. I mean, you're a family. You protect us. So
For the canines. At one time, I thought maybe I'd like to do a canine, but I wanted a tiger on a log chain. I figured I could go anywhere I
I'm gonna
wanted.
train mine to lay eggs. We need eggs.
Get a chicken. They're legal in the city.
You can have chickens, no roosters.
You can have one rooster. I think you can have
Yeah,
one
I think it's
rooster
only
on the lot.
one rooster's ordinance,
I
but you
thought
can
there was
have.
none.
No, I think you can have
I
one.
had a neighbor got one. The city came and shut that. Right
No, my
down.
neighbor
Really?
had
I
one.
think you can. I don't think you can have roosters. You can have. There's a limit on the amount of chickens.
about
Well, wait a minute, how can you
identifying as
have
a
eggs
hen.
without a rooster?
Then
you have to have a
then you're
rooster?
good to go.
The people down the street got a whole bunch of chickens.
So
but I think
here's the
neighbor's
plan.
cat killed a bunch
You
of them.
you can get a rooster and have him identify as a hen. You'll be okay.
See, there you
See?
go.
I got a plan. I got a plan.
You're not hearing any of this. I'll tell our secrets.
All right. We'll let you go. Thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. And we'll be a routine coming through the door. If you drink coffee, I'll figure out what you drink and I'll have some available because I usually just keep water and juice in here. But you're welcome anytime. No
Well, thank
invite
you.
necessary.
I'll be waiting. I'll be getting my stuff ready. I'll be ready to hit the sidewalk for you when you're ready.
All right.
All right. So we go up and running. Okie dokie. Kelly, you got to go to work?
No, not today.
4 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's what we need to do for one of our fine folks. Why don't we all just get up and leave together
Okay,
early,
that works.
just for giggles?
I think
What?
it's a good thing. hmm
So we're going to go off and go where we're going to go. We
You come to
around
work with me.
No,
You don't want to come
Come
tomorrow?
on.
no,
Congratulations.
your couch is not that
Thank you.
Well
comfortable.
My couch is amazingly comfortable. I've had people offer to buy it.
But your people want to. You
Would
want
you
to come
say
in and out, in and
goodbye?
out.
Would you say goodbye?
I did. We shook hands.
Oh, okay.
you
I
did,
just
yeah.
thought you ignored him all of
No,
a
he
I,
sudden.
said-
I'm not going to
saw
ignore
that.
him.
Lee, what were you doing? Just not paying attention.
Typing.
It's all good.
Yeah, we
Goodbye.
could hear it.
He's still the chief, too.
Right. Oh, he'll always be cheap.
Yes.
Take care.
You too.
Take care. Be safe.
Oh,
Now I've said
excellent.
goodbye.
Wow.
Always be safe.
Well, breaking news.
What a good bit busting to tell this one.
Yeah. I'm very
I'm
happy
trying to
for it.
figure out-
Very happy. I think that
I
he
know.
will serve the community well.
Well, I know of one potential vacancy,
That's
and I'm
family.
trying to figure
I do
out
too.
if it's in my where he
I think
lives is my
I
district.
think it's overall.
Yes.
I think it's
He's-
at
okay.
at
He's
large
an at
district.
large.
Yes.
Oh, okay, then
Yes.
okay.
So you're
then we're
good.
cool.
Nope,
Okay,
we're good.
yeah, because I know who we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But I know where the chief lives right near my daughter, so I know where he lives. And I was
lives
thinking, wait a minute, is that
Just right down
okay? But
down from me.
the other
Yeah, he
person
lives-
lives in my neighborhood. So,
Yes.
okay.
He's in at large.
Oh well, then
Yeah.
got it.
So anybody can
We
run for
will be
that seat.
explaining all of this to y'all,
Yeah.
We will
politically
eventually.
speaking.
Mhm.
When it comes time to explain it, we can't do it. Well, we can do it, but he can't do it yet.
No,
We can tell you anything we want to say, can't we?
that's certainly true. Yeah.
It's that First Amendment.
Well, we don't want
to.
to tell too many.
No, we don't want to give the secrets.
No, we got.
We're
There's a
gonna-
lot more to go, and there's a lot more to come,
Yes.
y'all. But you heard it first
Yeah.
here. You
Yeah.
just-
Heard it
just put
first
that way.
here.
True that. True story.
It's been a busy morning. And tomorrow's going to be really great. We've got our favorite sports editor, Chris Miller, who will be calling in. We've got Meredith Crew
Oh,
from Grants Creek
yeah.
Nursery. He's going to be calling us all about
Bloomings.
bloomings and spring planting. And I definitely want to talk to her about moles. And we also have Officer Guzman
Guzman,
from
yes.
Jacksonville Public Safety Office that's going to be coming in and talking to us about the Citizen Spring Academy
Yes.
that
So-
JPD's having.
So now you and Kelly can sign up on that one.
Kelly can't do it. I have to work.
You can. You can take off an hour once a week.
No, I have clients. I cannot. Their mental health is important. No.
I haven't decided yet. I mean, I really enjoyed the Sheriff's Office Citizens Academy. That was excellent. And I would actually go back to that a second time. It was good.
Well, the police
It was
department
good.
you need to go to.
Yeah, I know. And you and Sergeant Smith are not making this easy on me.
I know that. You need to go there. Okay, come on.
And she's been promoted to lead a new division.
I do have an idea for Lee, though.
Oh,
Lee is
yeah.
about to get very angry with me.
Oh boy.
I
Maybe
would
we
never
should
get angry
send
with
Yes,
you.
you would.
Lee to go take the BLET course, the physical course over
No,
at the college.
No, can't do
I
it.
could not even get past 100
I
yard
couldn't do
dash.
one sit up. What are we talking about?
Sit up and the pull ups and the chin.
I can't do the pull ups. Yeah, no.
Let's
do one
see.
sit-up.
How much prednisone do I have?
plus, I know that
Not
Paul
enough,
Buchanan
yeah.
would never pass me.
No.
He knows.
He would give you
He's like, you're
extra.
crazy. You
Well,
don't need
Buchanan
me
would
here.
pass me. Otherwise, I tell everything I know.
That's not being a friend.
That's what he's about telling. Hey, Paul, how you doing? I know he's listening.
Yes,
All
I
right,
do.
folks.
Okay, good.
Leo, it's 9:00 and I now have to go to work. Okay. Not going home today, just so you know.
We're normally on till
Yeah.
about 9:04.
I'm gonna follow
I got
you.
to go.
I'm going to follow you to see where you go.
I'm leaving early.
She's going home, Leo.
Yeah.
Theo, she's
Leo.
leaving early.
Okay.
We need a Leo and a Theo. We got a Kelly and a Lee.
Good show tomorrow, so everybody tune in.
Great show today. Thank you, guys. And we'll be back to mostly normal tomorrow, and that should be scary enough for you. So join us.
All right.
You're live and local. Real talk. I turned my mic down instead of yours. You're live and local. Real talk, where we're always awake, never woke, and we'll see you in the morning. Bye.